Skylarking is your favorite XTC album, right?
Interesting accusation. Because it wasn't really a question. It felt accusatory. But it's up there. It sure is. I mean, you'd have to press me hard to really choose one. Like a squeeze.
What do you
me,
think
like
about Skylarking?
Like an orange. I do love it. It's one of my favorites. No, I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect album. I think that XTC had a couple of perfect albums, and I think this is just one of them. And it is special in a way. I know it gets singled out, and I did actually start listening to XTC with this. This was the first album I listened to. But you didn't like it.
I didn't.
And I did. I did. I listened to this and Apple Venus. Basically around the same, very close together. I know we've talked about so many XTC albums, including this one already. I've definitely said this before, that I was looking for new bands to listen to and read about XTC and how it was Beatlesque, so-called. And I was like, cool, that's down my alley, or up it. And so I went with, I don't know, I'm telling the story. What am I saying?
I don't know. Alleyways and XTC.
I think it's singled out often. For one, you could make a case that it is their masterpiece, that it is their best album. Two, because of Todd Rundgren being producer, I think it gets kind of, put in a special, like, oh, this is the album that Todd Rundgren produced, It's only one like that. And three, I haven't thought of a third one yet. That's sign language for what is it, funeral?
I can't think of a third either. I don't know where you're going with that exactly. I think often with masterpieces, though, I think we were talking about this some other time, so maybe you'll recall. With masterpieces, often it's like the first great record that they make, and I sort of bristle at that with XTC because it's not the first great record they had made.
No.
Drums and Wires, Black Sea, English Settlement. I think Mummer is terribly underrated. Just between 82 and 85, they did 5 records.
Right.
This is a prolific, ridiculously talented group.
An awesome period of time for them.
That doesn't, it's not an either or in that respect. It's not taking away from how great Skylarking is. It kind of, when they talk about it, they seem to be dismissing a lot of the earlier records to me.
Yes, very
and later
dismissive.
Records, which at least on such is
you can't act
phenomenal.
like this came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, look at this album that these guys made. I mean, the build up to it, they're all awesome. And I think a lot of the songs on this record could be interchanged with the songs on Mummer.
Mummer is very similar.
There's a lot of similarities with theming, subject matter, and the sound of it, the song styling,
in some respects, Mummer, this sounds like Mummer run through the Dukes of Stratosphear. Todd Rundgren,
bless his heart,
is remarkable talent. I love Naz and, and other things he's done and produced. It's not so, again,
you're not going to dump on Todd.
No. But I disagree with some of the things he said about this, and I do think Andy really pissed him off.
I think Andy hurt his feelings.
And, and he hasn't necessarily let go of that, and he doesn't have to, it's fine. He deserves a lot of credit for this record and shaping it, but at the same time, they sent him all these songs
done, basically.
Before, he listened to them, and then he decided, we could do this with them. But it was there. They were, for whatever reason, they're writing all these neo-pagan songs in the first place.
Because that's what they do.
And
that's what they always do.
And I said Andy Partridge, is writing like a 19th century spinster who just happens to write about his penis more. It's
like an Easter bunny talking about his...
I was thinking about that, I don't know what I just said exactly, but something about Easter Bunny. You said Easter bunnies and penises, And it's close to Easter, so that seems apropos.
That seems fitting. No, basically your point was that whatever Todd Rundgren's magic with the album was, it wasn't like coming up with the theme
from XTC,
or writing the songs for them or giving them ideas. The songs were there already.
They were on a hell of a trajectory already.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Really. You just put on Psionic Sunspot again today, and what an amazing album that is.
Every song is like a freaking gem. Like,
it's so clever and it's wonderful.
Such a perfect, not even throwback, pastiche kind of like.
Pastiche, you can say that. Fine.
Homage.
I've
got other words like that.
This album it holds together remarkably well. When you compare it to concept albums that were actually conceptualized by the songwriter rather than the producer, if you want to go there, the theming of this album really, it does hold together very well. As far as feeling like something, like a summer solstice and all sorts, all the
cycles of
accompanying
life
things. Yes, it does.
Changes,
marriage,
dying.
Yes, dying, rebirth in its way.
Yeah.
All those things are present in a way that feels very organic on the record, and I would say, like what I'm saying is that was there in the songs that they had written.
Yeah.
And very brilliant of Todd Rundgren to recognize that and focus on it like he did. That's basically all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Cheers.
Don't forget that was there.
Yeah, I won't.
I'm saying do not forget that.
I won't.
Because you might forget it.
I promise.
Write it down.
I won't. It's interesting. When I first started listening to this record, I had the version that had Dear God on it and did not have Mermaid Smiled.
Yeah.
So I really didn't hear Mermaid Smiled until almost 20 years later, which is crazy. And when I finally heard the version with that song on it, that's the one I need to listen to now. I absolutely love Mermaid Smiled.
Well, that's another thing actually. I think we said this in another video where we talked about this record is. I actually don't think Dear God really belongs on this album.
Yeah, I don't really agree either.
I think...
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, I don't really agree, but I do.
I agree with you. I don't agree with Todd.
Yeah, it's not a question of the quality of the song. It's just, I just don't
think a nice melody.
It belongs on the album.
First of all, I'm not a fan of people that aren't the band singing on songs.
Yeah, that is a thing.
So, and then secondly, I'm not really a fan of kids singing.
True.
So now you've got a kid that is not in the band singing a song. I mean, I would actually, even with whatever the subject matter, what you think of that, what I think of that, the song itself, musically, melodically, is a lovely song, and I would like it way better.
It's great melody.
If he were singing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Without the kid singing.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't really feel like it. It actually feels like a bonus song. It's like, this is just like, here you go, have another one that is not really part of that whole song cycle you just experienced.
When this was the first XTC record I heard, and I actually heard it before you even started listening to them, and I spat on the ground and tossed it away, and I said, no,
Frisbee.
No, sir, not for me. One of the reasons is huge Beatles fans, normal sized, and
they sold a bill of goods.
They said Beatlesque, and I didn't hear Beatlesque on this record.
Yeah.
Not not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And listening to it now, I mean, you could hear traces of the Beatles, of course, blah blah blah, but there are, to me, it really is more the Beach Boys than the Beatles.
Yeah.
Even so, some of the things that people might think sound like the Beatles are actually the Beach Boys through the Beatles. Yeah. I really do think that, because even on Collins songs, on Dying, and you hear.
Yeah, there's actual like very very close parts. And you're like, oh, that's from a Beach Boys song.
And it's usually Smiley Smile.
Yeah.
It's something from that that era. It's like 66, 67. and you hear like some of the organ and it's just the harmonies and some of the things that you hear. Yeah, it there's some real 67 Beach Boys stuff going on this album. And of course, I mean, he had let the floodgates open with Beatles and Beach Boys on
Dukes of Stratosphear.
And Dukes of Stratosphear. So it's coming.
Here it comes.
But you hear from Colin too, which is fantastic. I think Ballet for a Rainy Day and Thousand Umbrellas is kind of the highlight of the record. I just think it's an amazing two pieces of music, but joined piece of music that works so perfectly.
Yeah,
and Dave Gregory orchestrating
beautiful
everything,
arrangements and stuff. It's gorgeous. The strings on that song are just perfect.
The melody for A Thousand Umbrellas it knocks me out. That is so clever and just beautiful. And I do think to some extent on this, because we were talking about Non-Such and some of Andy's ballads as being almost the heir of Brian at that point. And I feel like this is where he does start to get into that territory. It's where he kind of steps forward in that respect.
Yeah, and that goes right into Apple of Venus too.
The like long lines and the rhythm of the thing, the breath of it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's really amazing.
Just sublime.
It's wonderful.
Truly.
There's nothing like it, really. This album, anyone that really, loves XTC knows they're unique. And so it's kind of not really saying anything, but
you can tell me.
When you listen to these things, it just reinforces just how unique they really are. There really is no one quite like them,
That's why they're so great.
It's also why sometimes I think they're misunderstood as far as where the sound comes from and the influences and the substance of it. But
even reading about this album in preparation for this video, you can't come across like a piece of writing about this without seeing something linking it to like other English like pastoral countryside albums.
Yeah.
Like it's like the Kinks and Village Green Preservation Society, or it's like some other English thing about land and green stuff.
Like a druid romance.
This doesn't remind me of the Kinks at all.
No. It doesn't really.
Not at all. I mean, God, we love Village Green Preservation Society. But this is not that. I just keep seeing it, it's about, there's songs about grass and trees and.
No, it's I mean, I don't want to use the word mystical but it's solstitial.
You can use that word.
No, but it really is. I mean, it harkens back to something very, very ancient. And whether it's not, he wouldn't consider it mystical, or you consider it psychical, whatever it is.
McGonagall.
I mean, it's
McGonagall.
Stop it. It's it's unique. It's a completely unique take on things. I feel like Andy's writing the same song about the same things over and over again.
Same thing. Thank you so much for watching our discussion of Skylarking. Let us know what you think of this album in the comments. Make sure to like this video. And please subscribe to States and Kingdoms. And we'll see you next time.
What prompted us to revisit Skylarking, Jenna?
Todd Rundgren being a dick.
No, come on. Oh my God.